Good morning and welcome. Patriot News Hour, Joe and Jason on a hump day. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through another crazy week. Tomorrow will be a big day. We'll get jobless claims. Of course, we're waiting on retail sales, but pretty quiet day today. The earnings, kind of what we've been expecting, which is the real big companies doing real well. All the other ones, not so much. But this is what we've seen all year, right? The stock market rally driven by just a handful of stocks. And earnings has kind of really played into that. When you look at the earnings, the bigger you are, tended to be the better that you did. And if you're not so big, not so much. But that has been what we've been going through all year. Of course, gold and silver having another good day. I think that, again, we're right on the precipice again. Gold right near all-time highs again. Get ready. We'll be saying that a lot this year and a lot next year and probably the year after that and the year after that. Silver, really close to a big breakout. Matter of fact, we're going to have a great little special when we get later into the show. All you silver guys, it will be buying day again today. We're going to break down the catalyst here and what is going to be shaping the next silver. How far? I'm probably here's the funny part. I think I'm at the low end. You know, and I've been telling everybody, hey, I think silver's going to be $40 by next year. So far, the people that I look at and I follow, that's the low end. Who was it? It was the LBMA came out, and they said they don't see $3,000 gold next year. And I opened it up. Jason, they said that they only see $2,941.40, and I just kind of laughed, right? Because these are the same guys that, by the way, said that gold was going to be like $2,000 this year. That's about how accurate these guys are. But again, this is the London bankers, right? This is the bankers' version of where they think, even they, because every year when these guys come out with this, almost without exception, they always say gold's going to be lower. Because why? Because they're fiat money guys. They're bankers. But even them, Jason, even they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, how about $300 higher than this year, right? So a pretty strong, believe it or not, a really strong statement for these guys when you look at who it is. You always got to understand who it is that are giving predictions. You know, there's the guys out there, gold 26,000, right? You know who those guys are. Then there's the what I'll call the anti-gold guys. The LBMA, probably the biggest anti-golders out there. And even they, Jason, said, okay, yeah, all right. We're not gonna give you 3,000 because that'll be a headline, but we'll put it right next to it.
Well, and it's going to cost a lot more than $3,000 to get gold at that price, anyways. So right,
yeah, right. It's a great point, right? Yeah, even if at $2,900 and change, it'll definitely cost a whole lot more than that. One of the interesting things that came across my desk today is drinking rates starting to tick back up. Matter of fact, they're saying that the last time that drinking rates were this high was the 70s, right? So I don't know, maybe something about inflation makes people want to drink more. I don't know if that goes hand in hand. They're saying that during periods of recession, alcohol consumption for beer, spirits, and wine tend to be, they hang in there. They're not great. They declined, as an example, in 2009. Even during COVID, alcohol consumption, it remains pretty flat. There are some steady declines. Alcohol consumption has been losing share to the spirits, right? So, and what they're saying is less people drinking beer, more people drinking, I guess, tequila, vodka, right there. And of course, that's all the rage now, right? All the seltzers. But yeah, alcohol consumption now the highest since going back to the inflation era of the 70s. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe that's something that another index that we need to look at, because as far as if you compare alcohol sales now, they're saying that, hey, inflation, the Fed doesn't have it under control because alcohol sales are going up just like they did in the 70s.
Yeah, and it's cheap entertainment, Joe, that helps you forget your problems for a few hours. I mean, that's what it really is. It might cost you. You might spend as much at an establishment as going to the movies, but at the movies you still might be sitting there ignoring the movie, thinking about what bills you can't pay, right?
Boy, the movies. I think we've gone to one movie this year, and gosh, what was it? Ryan Reynolds, I forget. That's the last time I did. Movie tickets, those things are outrageous, too. You go to the movies anymore, forget it. Right? If you got to bring you, the wife, both your kids, and they want a snack, you're talking probably $100 easy. No wonder why no one's going. See the Joker? Boy, what a bomb that was. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. After a tough day yesterday, the Dow is up today, up 170. The S&P's up 7. The NASDAQ, it's flat. It's down like 50 cents, but we'll say flat there. The 10-year note, 4%. Okay, so now we're coming back down here. Let's see how the auctions go this week. But right now, the 10-year note at 4%. Crude oil still down, right around $70 right now. Gold is higher, as we said. Gold right now up 8, 26.71. Silver up another 25 cents, 31.70. By the way, both of them have been higher. Kind of just the last week, a little bit of a pullback. We'll see. Gold has been as high, almost at the record again, 26.85. Silver broke through $32. Remember, we're waiting on silver, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But be diversified here. Be smart here. Understand what's at stake. And when we're sitting here and we're looking at all the things, right, we're still waiting on Israel. See, the Russians took back half of the land over there, that little invasion. Boy, that's looking like a bad deal there. Now, North Korean troops inside of Russia fighting with the Russians. This thing's just creeping, right? North Korea yesterday blew up some road, right? South Korea, right there. Well, this whole thing just is like, okay, we're just waiting for this World War III to break out. It's insanity. Plus the election. So many things. Do yourself a favor. Just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to risk less. Period. I'm going to risk less. Because I understand what's happening. I understand the boom and bust cycles. I understand what's going on geopolitically. I understand de-dollarization. You got to boost those gold and silver holders. If you're still out there and you don't have any gold and silver, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you possibly thinking? And then the rest of it, hey, be more diversified. check out our friends over at Y Refi. Why? Because you get 10.25% fixed rate of return. Now, I know. Listen, Wall Street's had a good year. It has. Not as good as gold, not as good as silver, but still a good year. Good year. But you notice how you never get that return? Never. Just never works. Right? Because inside your 401ks, inside your IRAs, you don't own just NVIDIA. You don't own Apple and Amazon. Right? I only own 4 stocks. Like Bill Gates. Bill Gates. 80-something% of his portfolio is 4 stocks, right? You know, Warren Buffett, he does the same thing. We don't get those options. I just told you. The vast majority, and when I say vast majority, take the S&P 500. 450 companies, profits are down, not up, down. Some of them, unfortunately, are what? Negative. 10.25% fixed rates of return, not correlated to the stock market, not correlated to the Fed, not correlated to the elections, not correlated to World War III. Sounds like a pretty damn good idea. You need to have at least 50,000. Those of you with the big IRAs, you need to get some gold and silver in that thing. We can help you do that. Call Y Refi. They can help you on that side of it and really say, hey, I'm going to de-risk this. And guess what? There's no penalties, no fees. There's none of that nonsense. Just simple trustee-to-trustee transactions. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or just call them. That's the easiest thing. 888-Y-REFI-24, 888-973-3924. But Jason, as we kind of watch what's happening in this markets, we know about gold. Right? We know what the central banks are doing. We understand de-dollarization because that's what the central banks are doing. Really, they're actually, and it's really more than just de-dollarization. It's de-fiat, right? They're getting rid of fiat currencies. A lot of it dollars. But let's face it, some of it's euros, yen, right? British pounds. Right? They're getting rid of fiat money. And they're buying gold. We know this. Now you have, like we had with Russia, right? Now saying, hey, guess what? I'm going to be buying silver too now. I'm going to throw in some platinum and palladium to go on top of it. We've got the meeting next week. You know, I'll just say this. There are several big things coming. Jobless claims tomorrow. Retail sales. Those are 2 big numbers. If let's just say jobless claims are spiking and retail sales, let's just say they're flat, maybe they're lagging a little bit, what have you, right? You got to have higher gold and silver prices. We get any sort of good news or perceived, let's just say a ramp up of de-dollarization at next week's BRICS meeting, right? All the candle will have been lit. Right? We don't know. We're going to wait and see. But and forget about throw Israel in there, right? I mean, there's so many little things. There's too many sparks that are ready to blow up that any one of them will drive these prices. But I want to focus on silver again today. For the last, month? I've been telling you it's an all-out buy on silver. And you know me. I'm not a huge silver fan. And what do I mean by that? That I just mean that silver's heavy. It's bulky. Right? I mean, That's it. That's the only reason why I don't like it. But I'm going to tell you right now, the price is getting ready to take off. I told you we need 32. We got there today. We'll see where we finish. But the big number, 32.50, that was the high that silver hit in May. 32.50. Keep very close eye. I think there's a very good chance this week or next that 32.50 gets taken out. And if it doesn't, it's just a matter of time. But like I said, I just listed off four or five different things that could make it happen. A breakout above that is something that everybody needs to pay very close attention to. Right now, the gold to silver ratio, which we've been watching for like the last, really since COVID. Right now, it's at 84 and a quarter. You need almost a little over 84 ounces for 1 ounce of gold. That's way above normal. Way above. Now remember, the peak number, right, and Jason will tell you this, was 16. Right, back in 1980, right, silver hit $50. Gold was 800. The last time gold hit $50, right, that brief day over there, it got down to like 36. Right, because gold was about 1,800. I don't care about 16. I don't care about 36. Just to get back to, and most people, not me, most people say 50 is the number. That's what they say. I'm more of a 65 guy, but it doesn't matter. 50 is the number. I think we're going to see the gold to silver ratio get to 50. That's what I think. And I think it's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months. That's just where I see it going. By the way, at $2,700 gold, that would put silver at $54. People are starting to speculate that if silver crosses this 32.50, you will see a significant rally in the silver price. I've been saying 40, but Jason, these guys are talking about silver's going to go to 50. And they're saying quickly, a relatively short-term target, because they're saying this psychological level that was hit in 1980, hit again in 2011, that they're saying that this breakout, just because of that psychological 50 number, they think silver's going to run right to 50.
Yeah, I was just looking back in 2011 when it hit its high. It was, it came down pretty quick, and it did settle in the upper 30s, like you're saying, that 36, that you said earlier. So it seems to me either 32.5 or maybe a little bit higher than 32.5, and it probably pumps past 50 then. But I don't know if it's 32.50. It looks like it could be like 36 or 38, but it looks like the $40 range is a range that doesn't exist. Just like when we, for the first time, gold got to 2,100 earlier this year, 2,100 and 2,200 were non-existent. And nobody remembers when gold was 2,150 or 2,250 because it just skipped those ranges. And that looks like what 40 is, Joe. The $40 range is silver. It doesn't exist. It'll just go right past it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they're saying. Like the Hunt brothers in the 80s were cornering the market. right? And then they broke the Hunt brothers. In 2011, right, we had the paper guys kind of running the price. And, of course, very manipulated because, remember, they just changed the margin requirements. And like Jason said, it went back down to $35 like in 3 days. This time, it's much different. There is no surplus of silver. Doesn't exist. Matter of fact, just to give you an idea, inflation adjusted, $143. So when you sit here thinking about silver's at, $32, man, does it have a lot of room to run, right? When we think of all the metals, all of them, I mean, I don't know that there's an exception. Copper's hit all-time highs, gold's hit all-time highs, right? I mean, almost without exception, silver and maybe platinum, right? Those are the two metals. But silver hasn't hit an all-time high since 1980. Platinum's done that a bunch of times. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Wednesday. We've been focusing on silver today. And by the way, there's a whole bunch of other weird stuff. Charts that, you take charts going back to, I think something like 1915. You got these crazy things that people, people pay attention to and start looking at. There's one chart going back through the 60s, talking about cup and handle patterns and all these really oblique things that come into effect that leads to this meteoric rise that we're anticipating in the silver markets. Take advantage of these prices while you can. Because, again, I'm right, and it's only in the 40s. right. I mean, you're going to be paying $50 an ounce for silver. These guys are talking something well beyond 50 in a very, very short period of time. So here's the deal today. Rolls of Silver Eagles will be the cheapest in the country anywhere. $750. You can just buy one roll. By the way, that's $45 already off my already cheap price. A case of Silver Eagles, $18,125. To give you an idea of how inexpensive that is, almost everybody I've looked at is over $20,000 for a case of Silver Eagles. You can get a case at $18,750. It's like $2,000 less than guys that are inexpensive. You want something even a little more different, a little better deal? I've got one for you. We've got a package. If you buy this package, the roll of silver will be $725. It's practically cost. The package comes with a roll of Silver Eagles and 5 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles. By the way, those will be $5 off. By the way, 10-ounce Gold Eagles are $330. Not in here, $325. The package, $2,350. So Silver Eagles by themselves, incredible price at $750 a roll. Incredible. Nobody's anywhere close to that. Buy a case, $18,750. If you want to get this package where you get 5 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles, by the way, you save $5 a piece on those, $325, cheaper than anybody. Then you're going to put the silver in there at pretty much cost at $725. Yeah, $2,350. If you want a case with this package, you want to buy 25 packages? Now the silver case is $18,125. Right, the 10th ounce, you'll get two and a half rolls of 10th ounce at $40,625. The package, if you want the big package, $58,750. You'll get 125 tenths. You'll get a case of Silver Eagles, or you can just go the silver by itself. Again, $750 a case, $18,750. And Jason, this is blowing everybody out of the water. And again, here's the thing. The silver by this time next year, I'm just going to get, if you're going to buy a case of silver next year, this is kind of where I think we're going to be next year. Somewhere around $25,000 and that's going to be on the lower side. Somewhere around $25,000. So do you want to spend $18,000 and change or $25,000? That's going to be, and again, I'm still being conservative. I see what these guys, they're laying it out. They're showing you the charts. They're showing you the demand, right? We know about the demand. That's where I'm going. I'm just going demand, right? I'm just saying, listen, silver supplied the demand. It's going to be 40 plus. Jason, it could be significantly more than that. The time is now. I've been harping on you for a month to get into this market. If you've never ordered before, it's so easy. Just call the 800 number. We're not like other places. Just call the 800 number. Tell the girls I want the special. That's it. That's all you got to say. And they'll say today, which one? Which one would you like? And you tell them. How many would you like? You tell them. What happens after that? Are you going to call me to death, bother me to death? No. We don't call anybody unless you tell us, and even then we're not great at it. Here's how it works. When you order, you get a trade number. If you're in Arizona or in Colorado and you want to pick up, great. We'll call you when your product is ready, and you come pick it up. It's that simple. That trade number locks you in. Joe, what if tomorrow the jobless claims numbers comes in out of sight and silver goes from $32 to $34? Nothing. You still paid the same amount. You're locked in. When you get that trade number, you're locked in. Doesn't matter what silver or gold does, you're locked in. How do you pay for it? Well, you can send us a check. You can put it on a credit card. We take all 4 cards. By the way, 2% charge. Only 2%. Nobody does that either. 2% charge on credit cards. You send us a bank wire. You want to come and pay cash when you pick it up, you can do that as well. It's just that simple. And like I said, you know the next best part? We don't bother you ever again. We're not calling you up, calling you at dinner time. We're not sending you emails. We don't do any of that stuff. We care and value your privacy. We don't sell your information. We don't do any of that kind of nonsense. The big silver, this is it. You wanted a chance to buy some silver? Here's your chance. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to be right back. 800-951-0592. Gold coming back again. Here we go. Up now up 12. Like I said, silver again performing very well. Breakout right around the corner. News out of China. This is getting really interesting. Total silver import information from China through August. Up 34%. I mean, that's just incredible. Now, some of it's price, right? It costs more, but that's just amazing. Inside of this, China's buying of silver concentrate. Remember, we told that, so what was it, about a month and a half ago? China's now bypassing the regular markets. As I've educated all of you, silver contracts come in 1,000-ounce bars. And really, they can be anywhere from like 930 to like 1,070, but 1,000-ounce silver bars. That's how most countries buy their silver. Let me give you a great example. The U.S. Mint. They use a company called Sunshine. Some of you are familiar with it. Sunshine makes a lot of rounds and bars, right? And they tell Sunshine, hey, we need X amount of silver blanks, next month. Okay, and let's just say they say, hey, we need 500,000 silver blanks. And we need them in 6 weeks. Right? Well, Sunshine says, okay. And they go out and they'll buy 500 silver contracts for delivery, and then take delivery of them and then turn them into little silver rounds, planchets they're called, and send them to the mint to stamp them for silver eagles. That's how it works. U.S. defense contractors. Hey, we're going to make blah, blah, blah missiles this month. Well, we need 500,000 ounces of silver. They go to the same thing. China's like, yeah, we do that. But we don't want to drive the silver price up too far too fast. We came up with a new plan. How about if we buy silver concentrate, silver powder? I mean, you'd be amazed at how they're doing it. Non-flake silver powder. By the way, that's up over 26%. Yeah. And here's what they're doing. They're paying like it got turned into bars. They're going right to the miners. And the miners are more than happy to oblige. By the way, where are they getting it from? Let's see. Mexico, the largest silver producer. Remember, we talked about them. They're having problems. China's the second largest provider. You know who's third? Peru. Guess what? That's where their main source coming. Peru, then Bolivia. China is sourcing silver concentrate directly, bypassing the exchanges. People are now saying that this is such a big deal that the silver supply next year, there's going to be such a deficit way above what they're... Because here's what's happening, because they're idiots. These traders were like, well, okay, well, Peru... They're going to have 3 million tons, and Bolivia's going to have this million tons, and Mexico's going to have that. And then they see the demand from the exchanges and think, okay, well, it's going to be, it's going to be a deficit, but it's not going to be, terrible. Because guess what? China's buying boatloads of it before it ever gets there. Another big reason, Jason, a lot of people are anticipating a huge shortage, much bigger than what the paper markets think, because this is new. This is something we haven't seen done. especially with China now willing to pay well above for these miners to do. The miners are loving it. Like, are you kidding? What? You're going to pay us more money for the concentrate than if we turned it into bars. What a great deal. On top of that now, the U.S. defense contractors, I think you can't make this stuff up. They're starting to get worried. Right? They're like, wait a minute. We got to wait in line behind the Chinese. It's going to be interesting. Really, really interesting to see how all of this plays out. Are we going to end up in a situation with silver? Because it's so vital. It really is. I mean, you can't do anything today without silver in it. Are we going to end up in a situation where companies like Tesla, U.S. defense contractors, are going to have to start buying silver directly from the mines and not have all of this silver hit the exchange? I don't know. But when I look at the volumes of what China is doing, it's hard to think otherwise. There really isn't. What's the alternative? There isn't one. And what is this going to do to the physical markets? And I think this is kind of the big reason why a lot of people, including myself, silver is going to make a monumental move in the next 12 to 18 months. And it could start at any day. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, the cheapest anywhere. It's not even close. $750. And then, of course, we got that special with a roll of silver and 5/10. $2,350. We'll be back for the final segment. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason, kind of our silver spectacular here. The amounts that China is importing, it's outrageous. Over 1,000 tons of concentrate in the first 8 months of the year. 2,000 tons of powder. I mean, this is a huge amount. And that's just in the first 8 months. Think about this. We're probably going to have, 4,000 tons of silver not even hit the exchange? And the rate that China's increasing this. I mean, in 2025, what are we going to see? 5,000 tons not hit the exchange? This is huge when you talk about deficits in silver. I think just this, forget about everything else. Forget about chart patterns and 3250 and I don't know, teacups and what have you, adjusted for inflation and all of this other. Forget it. Throw it away. Supply and demand. Here's the thing. Mexico's in trouble. And they were the biggest supplier, and it wasn't even close, by double. They've lost. Think about this. Mexico's lost almost 1,000 tons of production. Lost. On top of what else is going on. It's in China, the second largest producer. They're in the same boat as Mexico. And here's the problem. Here's what they're saying. Well, guys, we don't have other mines to make up for it. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to have to mine stuff that isn't as rich, which means the price has got to be a lot higher for it to make economic sense to go get it. Don't let this day pass you up. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles at $750. No one's even close to that. A case, $18,750. You want to save even more? Buy the package. Silver Eagles, almost at cost at $725, and 5 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles. If you buy a package, it's $2,350. You're going to save $25 on the 10th ounce, another $25 on the roll of silver. Right? It's a $50 savings. That's a pretty good deal. At 800-951-0592. Again, if nothing else, walk out of here today with a roll of Silver Eagles at a minimum. At a minimum. If it was me and you got the means, buy a case of Silver Eagles today, $18,750. Get it done. If you got the means, heck, buy 25 of the specials. $58,750. $800-951-0592. You wanna get great returns on your portfolio in silver? Today's the day to do it, folks. Jason and I, we're gonna come back with the half-empty cup. Stay with us.